The new school year is approaching. That is the 2024-2025 school year. It's fast approaching, coming up here in Flower Bluff in just two or 1 day, one or 2 days. CCI season already started. Now sitting at Little Smith already started back in July. Now, are your kids ready for back to school? It's also the end of our back to school month. Which we've been doing a Flashback Friday all about this, but there are some new issues we've not talked about, and we're going to get to those in just a moment. But you're now going to meet students who are absolutely ready to take on the new year, the new school year in Palm Beach, Florida. Tonight, it's what you're going to see firsthand on this broadcast. Here's Stephanie Susskind.
Day one and the hard work is already underway. Classrooms full of students at Spanish River High School in Boca Raton ready to take on the new year.
This is the best day of the school year always. So it's absolutely amazing to see all the students coming back and refreshed and excited for a new school year.
Principal Dr. Allison Castellano leading her School of Sharks to an unofficial 100% graduation rate last school year.
The students bought in, the teachers bought in, and we all have pride in excelling and doing the absolute best that we can do.
It's what brought Superintendent Mike Burke to visit the school on day one.
Settle into it, ease into it. We have a great week and we'll be off and running.
This is my dream. I went to this high school, graduated from here. My husband went to school here as well. I came back and taught here. Everyone in my family has graduated from Spanish River High School.
The campus of about 2,700 students also has a newly remodeled media center. Across the district in Palm Beach Gardens, Grove Park Elementary School also got a facelift. We asked a few students there what they missed about the summer.
My friends and my teachers.
My friends.
Playing at the park and normally at lunch.
And what they're looking forward to this school year.
I'm excited to work on my own.
To go talk to my friends.
That I could find new friends and I don't know what else.
School leaders say while it can be tough coming out of that summer routine, they're ready to take on the school year with you.
Hope the traffic wasn't too bad. Hang in there. We'll all get adjusted to this. And thanks for entrusting us with your children.
It's always so much fun to hear from the littlest students as they head back to class. Now, I am continuing to check in with school leaders all across our area. I did just hear from Martin County. They say they also had a very smooth day. They're very happy with how the first day of school went. We'll continue to check in with everyone and have updates for you throughout the
Looking
live in West Palm Beach. Stephanie Susskind, WPTV News.
This is that fun time of day too. The kids come home, they debrief the parents on how the first day of school went. All those parents have been waiting to hear. Hoping everything went great. Thanks so much, Stephanie.
And everything might be going great. Cool. It's very great to be all like saying that about debriefing your mom and dad about how your day was at your first day of school. I mean, that's how it was. I mean, I remember going my first day of school. My first day from. I mean, basically that's what the show's all about. Education. You know, summer's going to be over soon, and it's time to get back into the routine of things. Meaning, you have to make sure your child goes to school every day. And parents, like I've been talking about, you need to find. If your child wants to walk to school, you need to make sure that it's his or her responsibility to get to school on time if they're walking. If you don't live far from the district, like I do not live far from the district. Find a good walking distance. Like, right across the street from the school, there's the apartments right next to the taco stand and right by Domino's. The apartments, this is right across the street. Kids should just walk in, and kids can just simply walk in and just walk in. I mean, like, you live right across the street. I mean, you're gonna come right back. It's just not how it is. I mean, let me tell you something. Skipping class may not be a big deal to some, But to other people like me, it is a very serious issue, and it's completely unacceptable behavior coming from people. I mean, you know, people are saying like, I'm gonna go get medicine, or I'm gonna go get some lunch, I'm gonna come right back. Like, if you live right down the road, you're gonna come right back. I mean, you live like 12 minutes away, you're not gonna come back. You're probably gonna be sitting in your room all day playing video games. Well, just listen to this beat. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to school. I'm gonna break the rules, cause I'm on a 2+2. We're gonna show it to you later on our next hour break, but the key here is everybody's ready for that school year, and your child. I mean, it's what every parent wants. Every parent wants their children to succeed, and that's how it is these days. But here's what's not going to succeed. Disruption in our classes. We've already focused on kids disrespecting teachers. But violence in our classrooms is going up at a sky rate high. Next, we're going to Houston, to where reports are coming in about all these violent incidents that go reported by teachers, but then the school district in Houston does nothing about it. You'll get to hear from 8 teachers who say they've had enough about this and they want some change. And you'll get to hear the reports from Houston about the increased violence that's happening between kids and teachers. And later on, more developments into the kid who beat up a teacher's aide over a Nintendo Switch. Please stay with us. Broken ribs, kicked, punched, spat at. We're not talking about kids hitting their parents. We're talking about teachers who say they have had their ribs broken, they've been kicked, punched, and spat at. It's happening in the Houston City School District. And teachers say they are fed up by what's happening. This was all back in 2019. Tonight, you're going to witness firsthand at all the Houston school districts and all school districts in Houston, as they see reports, as the reports we're about to show you. What really stunned you about how much violence has increased between students and teachers. And you'll also get to meet 8 teachers who, for the very first time, are speaking out, saying something has got to change. Here's Sharon Miller.
You count on them to teach our children, put them on the path to success, help shape their futures. But some teachers say when the school bell rings, they are in the fight of their lives.
Raise your hand if you believe that classroom disruptions are at an all-time high level.
Somewhere in this district, some teacher is suffering.
We invited 8 teachers from different school districts to share their stories, to learn what is going on in the classroom.
I too have been scratched.
2 kids fighting, and I got in there, broke them up like this.
Spit in my face.
I got beat up by a 2nd grader.
The other kid just kept swinging, broke my ribs.
KHOU 11 Investigates looked at injuries reported by elementary school teachers at Houston area school districts over the last 3 years. In Houston ISD, 35% of staff injuries were caused by students. In Aldine, 45%. And in Katy, 96% of all reported injuries were caused by students. Some of the descriptions include karate chopped by student, kicked and hit with lunch kit, student swung stick injuring face and hand, kicked, punched, headbutted by student.
Does that shock you?
No, sadly it does.
It's every day.
The teachers say some of the injuries can be difficult to document, and that process is often discouraged.
At the end of the day, it's a numbers game, because many building principals have a certain quota that they can't exceed for discipline.
Teachers say they often deal with the bad behavior, and that takes away from valuable learning time.
You lost 30 minutes for the disruption, 15 minutes for the regrouping, and then another 15 minutes to bring everyone back together and get back to work. It's a whole hour.
But what about the parents? Where are their responsibilities?
That's the elephant in the room.
The teachers say some parents are full of excuses, and they have heard them all.
He's never done, I've never heard of that. He's never done that. Yeah, that's the favorite, it's the common one. You do that a lot.
Most schools have guidance counselors, but parents typically have to give written permission before their kid sees one. And these teachers say most of them won't.
If they feel like my kid's being labeled as a behavior, they think that you're just out to get their child.
So what can be done to stop this behavior? These teachers say it's not about changing the rules, it's about changing attitudes.
Let's put our pride to the side, teachers, parents, community, and just get back to children first.
Work with us. Work with us. Get to know us. Allow us to get to know you. We should not be on separate ends.
We're in this because we love the kids and we just want a community effort to help build your child.
Parents with students in Cypress, Fairbanks, and Fort Bend, we requested that same information from those school districts, but they told us they don't track whether teachers' injuries were specifically caused by students, so we couldn't get you that information. Cheryl Mercedes, KHOU 11 Investigates.
And I bet that the comments from both videos have been raised. I mean, people say, I got beat up by a second grader. I've been seeing instances of teachers being bullied in a classroom for a decade or so. Here's what I took away from it. Students have been told for years that bullying is a rite of passage. The kids learn to walk away or learn to rise above it. And other pathetic nonsense. How can we tell kids to simply walk away from bullying peers? Some love. But now the viewers are reacting to what happened. Here again is Cheryl Mercedes.
These teachers are bold and brave, but they are also terrified.
I've been spit on. I've had a student spit in my face.
This year I got beat up by a second grader.
I personally had 2 kids fighting, and I got in there, broke them up like this, and the other kid just kept swinging, broke my ribs.
It might sound shocking to you, but it is their reality every day. KHOU 11 Investigates looked at injuries reported by elementary school teachers at Houston area school districts over the last 3 years. In Houston ISD, 35% of staff injuries were caused by students. In Aldine, 45%. And in Katy, 96% of all reported injuries were caused by students.
I was in a situation where I was hit in the head with a science balance.
Teachers say school rules only go so far. They say bad parenting is a big part of the problem. The real change has got to happen at home.
We have a lot of young parents, and they have their type of parenting is, I want to be their friend rather than being their mother or their father.
If my kid misbehaves at home, Xbox. If my kid misbehaves at home, PlayStation. I don't have Xbox or PlayStation at school.
You can't just give the child everything they want when they scream and yell and then expect them to have to be disciplined when they're in the classroom.
Whatever that behavior is, get on it fast.
Yes.
Don't let it build. Don't let it build.
While these teachers say disruptive behavior has gotten worse over the years, when the school bell rings, their hearts are still in the classroom.
Why do you do what you do? Why do you continue to report to work every single day?
Watch that.
It's just amazing to see the growth.
I'm preparing them for the future. And they may not see it now, but one day they'll see it, and when they come back and tell you those stories, it's all worth it.
So parents, where do you start? Well, these teachers say, talk to your children. Just ask them how their day was. Maybe even look over their homework with them. Maybe open up the discussion on how things went in class. Try to get to the root of what is really bothering them. Len, Mia?
Communication is key. Sure.
Exactly. That's the whole key here. Communication is key. Nobody gets it because, really, when teachers report, because teachers are the victims and so are the parents, you know. The parent, that's the elephant in the room from these things. It's the parents. They sit there and deny their kids. I mean, this is what happens, you know. This is me as a teacher. I'm afraid that it's your fault. And it's like, I didn't know my child behaved like this. You know, my child's a beautiful angel. He would never beat somebody up. Maybe it's because of the cartoons he's watched. Well, that's the elephant in the room. As parents, It's your duty to make sure that stuff like this is not ever happening again. Believe me. You know stuff like this is assault and battery. But other things have got to change, like Scared Straight. We'll give you more tips later. Still to come, the teachers finally speak out. Up next, the student that attacked a teacher's aide is now in court. Probation or jail. Stay with us. All ATCs you just heard told portional stories about when they've been beat, when they had their ribs broken, they're breaking up the fights, they get assaulted by school supplies and all. But now what you're about to hear is the full story behind all of this. So what else can be done? Could there be more laws put in place? And what else can parents do and the whole community can do to make sure that stuff like this does not happen again? Once again, here's Cheryl Miller.
If you believe, raise your hand if you believe that classroom disruptions are at an all-time high level. Raise your hands if you believe that your classrooms are in crisis. Raise your hands if you believe that disruptive behavior is jeopardizing your lesson plans. Raise your hands if you think something needs to change. Raise your hands if you think it's a societal problem. Raise your hands if you think this is something new. Raise your hands if you've experienced this in, say, the last 5 years. The last 2 years. The last year. I want you to give me one word that describes the behavior in your classroom.
Bearable. Just bearable.
I'd say manageable.
Manageable.
Mine is manageable. It's outside of the classroom.
Disruptive.
Disrespectful.
Selfish.
Give me one word that describes how you feel when a student screams at you or you feel that you're attacked in the classroom.
I don't take it personal.
I sometimes feel like a little bit helpless.
I try not to take it personally. I think there's extenuating circumstances.
I try to seek solutions.
Helpless. I want to help the child.
Ignore it.
Frustrated.
At first, I felt helpless and it was like a personal attack, but now it's like I don't take it personal, and I feel bad for the student.
Do you feel that parents are aware of what's going on in the classroom?
Most of them, they're not.
I think parents are somewhat aware, but I think sometimes parents are a bit in denial and sometimes don't understand that student behavior is different in the classroom than when they're at home.
I also agree that they do not understand the magnitude of the disruptions in the classroom.
I believe they are aware, yet because it's at school and it's not at home, it's like I'll let the school deal with it. So that's where kind of the denial piece comes from. If it's not here at home, they can just deal with it at school.
I think they're somewhat aware, but I don't think they understand the extent of it.
I agree with her. I believe that they are aware, but they don't see the full impact of what we actually see because they are, they have more control over what that child does, as far as discipline and the things that they can take away from them or how they punish them or what have you. Of course, we can't do those same things in the classroom.
I think they're aware, but I also think they would be shocked if they understood just how much the disruption causes the learning process to just fail.
I kind of agree with most of my colleagues here. It's I believe that they are aware, but since it's in a different setting and it's a different structure, it doesn't apply to what happens at home. Like if my kid misbehaves at home, Xbox. If my kid misbehaves at home, PlayStation. I don't have Xbox or PlayStation at school. So I can't just, put your child in TV timeout.
When I tell you that I've read reports that teachers have been punched in the stomach, hit in the groin, head-butted, had their heads pushed into a computer monitor, their fingers bent backward, cleaning products sprayed in their faces, does that shock you?
No.
No, it's every day. It's every day. It may not happen in the same classroom, but it's going on that campus every day. And I think what's going on with it, and this is a sad part for all of us, and for society, and for the administrators, we used to be shocked when these things would happen. We're desensitized to it. Oh, another kid did this, or another kid did this. It's gotten so bad that discipline problems, you don't give the discipline to those. You keep raising that bar of what will be a defense to get those kids. Not so much discipline, because when they're not in that classroom, they're not learning, but they need to get the help that they can be effective in that classroom.
I agree a lot with what you're saying, is that it may not be on that campus or in that classroom, but somewhere in this district, some teacher is suffering, is being bullied, is being harassed, is terrified in their classroom. And they push the button for help, and no help comes. And that's the problem that I feel, is because you're my backup.
I want you to tell me something that has happened to you in the classroom that was caused by a student that you feel that is just extreme and that people would just never believe has happened in a classroom.
But recently a teacher on my campus was breaking up a fight, but then the students then turned and attacked him. So then he had to defend himself versus the kids, because they stopped fighting each other and began to fight him.
Something that needs to be brought up when we say kids fighting, we're thinking of TV back in the 50s. But if you've ever seen a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old or a 10-year-old stop another kid in the head when he's down on the ground, what are you supposed to do? You have to get in there and break it up. I personally had 2 kids fighting, and I got in there, broke them up like this, and the other kid just kept swinging, broke my ribs, and I'm at home, losing my time, losing my pay, and the kid is back in school before I'm back to work.
I mean, like, I've seen 8-year-olds go, an 8-year-old girl assault an 8-year-old boy and bring him, take him down to the ground and then continue to kick and beat him. And, I scooped her up around the waist and just walked her away. And it was just like, but I mean, I was so shocked by the violence of an 8-year-old. Like, that's not something I've been used to seeing. That's not something I've ever seen.
Throwing chairs around, yelling, even getting physical to an extent. He did not get physical with me, but he did get physical with another teacher.
I've been spit on. I've had a student spit in my face. I've had a student punch me in the back. I've had students scream into my face. I've had my hair pulled by students. I have had a student unfold a paperclip. I've been stabbed, not like piercing my skin to where I needed like stitches or anything, but I've been poked and prodded with paper clips. So I've had those things. Those things have happened to me.
Those things have happened to them. But all of these things have happened. And if these teachers filed reports, why hasn't these school districts that we told you about, why haven't they reported to, the Department of Education and say, what, this is what we're dealing with? When we come back, we're going to hear more from these teachers about why they're filing these reports and why these reports are not filed. And They're going to say what needs to be done about this in the whole Houston community. Please stay with us. Returning to our story, you've heard 8 teachers say they have been kicked, punched, spat at, had their ribs broken by elementary students. They say it's an ongoing problem that happens every day. But what more can be done to prevent this, and what else can be done, and why do these teachers file these reports and the school district did not? You'll get to hear the other side of the story about why these reports aren't filed but not followed through. Once again, here's Sharon Miller.
I too have been scratched with paper clips that they unravel, just trying to get it from the child. So then you back away, but then that child is trying to go after other children. It's like, so what do? So you try and remove all the other kids, and it's just so chaotic. I did not file a report or anything like that. I just usually let every day become a new day, but it's tough to deal with.
My first year as a teacher, I got to duck a desk. Yes, a 4th grader threw a desk at me, and I questioned, like, did I not want to go back to the civil process and want it? Like, it was a story choice. This year I got beat up by a 2nd grader. The child was very upset with me, did not agree with my decision, and we were coming in from recess, and the child was very, very upset, and she just, started just hitting me with her fist.
Wow. I mean, most of the problems, the kids don't really attack me. What happens is they're attacking each other, and when I try to intervene, sometimes I get hit in that process, or I might get bitten, or, there was one instance I was breaking up a fight, and I ended up down. I don't know if I fell in the process, but I ended up getting kicked in my shoulder.
And this was not one of my students. This was a student from one of the other teachers that we try and help. So we try and help each other. We try to put them in a different environment, and so we just see if the different environment will help. And obviously that didn't help this particular student that particular time, and so you took a balance to my head, and it just kind of shocked me. I didn't realize I was bleeding until afterwards, and when the principal came in and said, or one of the assistants, I don't remember who it was actually, came in and said, "Oh, you're bleeding, you need to go and file a report." And I said, "Okay, well, I'll go file a report."
Is it not second nature when you're injured by a student to file a report?
They don't always believe that you were injured by a student. They don't believe that your injuries are severe enough.
Each school district in the last 2.5 years on average have between 300 to 500 teacher injuries, and the majority of them say they were caused by students. Some of you said, "Oh, there's more than that."
That's what I was gonna say. That's probably the only ones that were reported.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's a numbers game. Because many building principals have a certain quota that they can't exceed for discipline. So it's about self-promotion, making sure that your campus looks good, that it appears that there's no discipline issues. Right.
There was a new principal in a high school here in Houston about 10 years ago, and he didn't understand all the reporting requirements everybody's talking about here, but he documented for true life what actually happened in that campus. At the end of the year, he was given the distinction of having the most violent campus in the United States. That didn't happen in the following year, I guarantee you. So they play with those numbers. They play with those numbers.
So, who is responsible for what you are dealing with in the classroom?
I've asked myself that question time and time again.
I think it's one person though.
It's not. And a lot of times, so many times we try or we wish to blame our admin, but to some degree, administration, their hands are tied as well.
What is the solution?
I believe it's a shared interest, because I believe what happened, we've become more consumed with tests and data than getting back to educate them to be model citizens for when they grow up. So although test scores may rise, are they really prepared to be better citizens when they're older. So when they don't have consequences and not accountable for their actions, then you see things on the news where they just think they can go toe to toe with maybe officers and things of that nature, because when I was a child and when I was in school, nothing happened. I was able to get away with these things. And I just believe like administration and teachers and parents all need to sit down, because administration have their thing, teachers, we're frustrated, it's self-preservation, parents have all their things going on, and no one is actually all sitting together and having this dialogue.
Then we haven't mentioned parents. We don't hold them accountable at all. We're all passing the children around, and this teacher doesn't want this child, and it's like, okay, I hear what he's doing in your classroom. Well, I don't want to have to deal with that. But what about the parents? Where are their responsibilities?
That's the elephant in the room, is we have latchkey parents who are latchkey to kids themselves. A lot of the behaviors that we want these kids to exhibit, they don't know any better. And they come into us, and maybe we can instill some of it. But when they leave that classroom at 3 or 4 o'clock, they're going right back to where they were before, and it starts all over again the next day.
District, we have parenting classes that are offered. And then also, this year we started having social skill classes in the morning. It's built into our curriculum. And it talks about values. What is kindness? What is self-discipline? We talk about that with the children. What does it look like?
I think the community needs to also be involved too. Like the community that I teach in, we have a lot of single parents, and they have on average 3 children, and they're working sometimes 2 jobs, and the older sibling is the one taking care of the younger sibling, and so the parent they're exhausted, they don't really know what to do, they're stressed out. Life is tough when you're when you're struggling financially, when a parent doesn't have a car and they're taking the bus to get to and from work, and carrying groceries in their hands as they walk, and then trying to handle the behavior of the kids is hard, it's difficult. So I think if we reach out with the community, we get community partnerships. How can we assist with maybe after school caretaking? How can we assist with maybe homework caretaking? Because we know a lot of students cope with academic struggles with behavioral problems. They mask their inability to perform in class by acting out because they're embarrassed and they don't know where to go to get help. And
is there something in the law that can change to help you all in the classroom?
Well, they went up and they had the shall place rules where if they do something, then they're out of there. But some of the things that they've done, they backed off on us. They used to have, for a truant policy, they would give tickets to the parents. Well, they had so many parents getting tickets for kids not being truant that they just wiped the law out completely.
Yeah, I mean, even if we get a new law, it doesn't mean that it's going to be enforced. We have plenty of laws already that are not being enforced. I mean, when students get into physical fights, if that happens in the real world, then they're taken to jail. That doesn't happen at the school. So there's a lot of rules that we have and laws that we have, but they're not enforced.
So do you think maybe it's a generational thing? Times have changed. Times are changing. And behaviors are changing.
And the community that I'm in, we have a lot of young parents, and they have their type of parenting is I want to be their friend rather than being their mother or their father. And
we've had parents say that discipline didn't work for me, so why should I do it to my child? It's just like one of those.
I would like to speak to policymakers, understand that we are in the classroom, and the things that we have to go through, from children hitting and kicking, and to say that you cannot suspend the child based on this. That's just not conducive, to that environment. To our parents, we love your children. I know I do, and I'm known as a firm teacher. Yes, I'm that firm teacher, but your child is going to be taught. I'm not against your baby. Please work with us. Work with us. Get to know us. Allow us to get to know you. We should not be on separate ends.
Not be on separate hands. Okay, well, what else needs to be done? There's 2 words. Scared straight. If you remember back in the 70s, there was an old video. There's a thing called Scared Straight. It was a program to where violent juveniles would be taken to real jail and get scared straight by inmates. That needs to happen at an earlier age. We need motivational speakers. We need the whole community to come out and say, hey, you know, this is what we're dealing with every day. This is what we need to deal with. And something like this needs to stop immediately. Parents, you need to nip it in the bud. A lot of you are saying, well, I don't do discipline. Why should I discipline my child? Discipline is not hitting. It's about teaching kids what's right and what's wrong, so that when they go out in the community, they can say to themselves, okay, if I do this, then if I do this, then this happens. I mean, they got to know that they don't do this, this happens. If they don't go to school, then this is what's going to happen. If you hit a teacher, then this is what's going to happen. Problem solving needs to happen. I mean, we need to scare kids straight. I mean, we put a freaking elementary school in jail for a day. Just for one day. During the whole school day, that would happen. The child would be in jail. For one day with inmates, and they say, well, you want to hit a teacher, huh? Why don't you come up and hit me then? You think you're so tough? Why don't you come up and hit me then? I dare you. That's not hard enough, boy. Hit me harder. I mean, you'll be with me, if you're being scared straight, you'll be with inmates saying to you, well, I've been here 10 years because I murdered somebody. I've been here for 50 years because I killed somebody. You think going to jail is cool? You think going to jail is fun? It is not. And the parents. Parenting classes have got to happen. The parents need to get involved and not say, well, it's not my child. I can't discipline my child. You need to learn discipline. I mean, you may say to yourself, well, I wasn't disciplined when I was a kid. My parents did not teach me right and wrong. You need to teach your kids right and wrong. The difference between right and wrong, and just get involved with your child and just say to yourself, I mean, every parent in Houston that watched the story 5 years ago might have been scratching their heads going, you know, that's still not my child. Nah, it's not my child. My child will never do that at home. If you respect if you don't hit your parents, if you respect your parents, excuse me, if you disrespect school and you don't disrespect parents, it tells you one thing. You don't respect your school. You don't show respect to your teachers, the staff members, the principal. You don't show respect to anybody. It's like swearing. If you're swearing at home, you're swearing in school, and you're not swearing at home, it tells you one thing. You don't respect the authority in school. Laws have got to be made. I mean, truant tickets, those are long gone before those were long gone. Policies need to be put in place. I mean, you could just write a petition, you give it to the guardsmen and say, hey, we need laws to protect teachers. And, you know, they'll look at us and go, hey, that's a great idea. You know, we gotta protect our teachers. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, I understand. But if we make this law happen, then, I mean, the State Department of Education needs to report all this. And principals should not be playing with those numbers. That's what needs to get done. You may be familiar with the case of a student who attacked a teacher's aide because of a Nintendo Switch. Up next, we're taking you to court, to where sentencing has happened. He's either going to get prison time or probation or found not guilty. Stay with us. During our fifth season, we showed you this video clip, this video camera taken from a school about a student who hit a teacher's aide because the teacher took his Nintendo Switch. He is now charged for attempted murder. Now there's new developments into this case. Tonight the very latest since that video, and as we're about to show you from court, reactions get pretty intense. Here's Amber Cogliano.
Chilling video. It's chilling video seen across America as a student pushes a teacher's aide to the floor, then kicks and pummels her without mercy. It's a savage beating, and it takes 4 other staff members to drag him off the unconscious woman, who is left with multiple injuries. Now the hulking 6'6" culprit Brendan Deppa is learning his fate, and his sentence is causing outrage. It turns out that Brendan Deppa, who was 17 years old at the time of that ferocious attack in a Florida high school, is disabled. He is autistic and has a number of other disorders, and his mother says he has the emotional maturity of a 6-year-old.
I beg you, let him come home with me. I want my son back.
His adoptive mom fought back tears as she begged the judge for mercy. The student's defense attorney also pleaded with him not to send the teen to prison.
He is disabled. He can't navigate the world like you and I can.
But the judge said the video shows a level of unprovoked brutality he could not ignore.
It captures senseless, extreme violence. Mr. Deppa has never expressed not even a single bit of remorse.
He sentenced the teen to 5 years in prison and 15 years probation. Deppa threw his head back in shock. Court TV's Julia Janae was in court.
There were many people who were shocked at the judge's decision. Many felt that this was a case of a person who should have been in a facility versus behind bars.
Common sense alert. Common sense alert. All schools need special education programs like here in Flower Bluff, not inclusion classes. I mean, we're going off topic here, but it doesn't matter. I mean, take a look at the comments here. That's common sense. Look at the comments. Look at the comment section. He understood the 5-year sentence just fine. Autism is not an excuse to commit crimes. My son is very sorry that he committed this. He has autism. I'm begging you, Your Honor, please. Please, Your Honor, please. I want my son to go flee. I want my son to go flee here, please. The law's the law. Whether you're disabled or not, the law's the law. Disability or not.
Chilling video. See.
Disability or not, there is no excuse for that level of brutality. The way he threw his head back was more like a toddler getting ready to throw a temper tantrum. It's what we focus on. Now let's take a look inside the courtroom.
An autistic teenager will spend the next 5 years in prison after brutally beating a teacher's aide over a Nintendo Switch that she confiscated from him. Now, take a look at this. This is surveillance video from inside of the Florida high school. You can see the aide in the black shirt walking away when the 17-year-old chases her and then stomps on her and begins violently punching her. She lost consciousness. This continues until others run up and pull him off of her. Now, a judge this week sentenced a 17-year-old as an adult and gave him 5 years in prison and even more probation after he gets out. Some say he's not going to get the help that he needs behind bars.
A lot of people with autism experience at some point in their lives or express aggression. I do not believe he will receive the treatment he needs.
I absolutely do think the school district failed him, that we had a behavioral plan that was not followed.
Now the victim had broken ribs, a concussion, hearing and vision loss, and now has PTSD, as you would expect in a situation like this. Definitely a disturbing situation, but we want to take a deeper look into someone living with autism and if these results are the best option that's out there. Joining us tonight here, teacher Arnetta Murray and parent Lewis Hunter. So, Lewis, as a parent, seeing a video like this, it's always tough because even in the courtroom video, you saw him towering over the deputies. The 17, still not an adult, but still, your thoughts on this?
In the state of Florida, I believe he can be charged as an adult.
So he was
charged as an adult. Okay, yeah, because I think it was a felony aggravated assault. This kid is 6'6", 270, and I'm gonna quit saying kid. He is 6'6", 270 pounds. He kicked this 60-year-old woman to sleep, and then kept hitting her. Nobody deserves to go to work, to provide for their families, to have to deal with this. In the year previous to that, he had 3 misdemeanor charges for the same thing. So whether or not the mother should be charged, this sympathy talk about, well, you know, he's not going to get the help that he needs in prison. Who's getting the help that they need in prison right now? Whether or not you're autistic or retarded, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't. I mean, you can't give this kid too much sympathy because of what he did. Everyone's talking about the help that he's going to get. What about this lady who went to work that day, this teacher's aide, you know, for taking a Nintendo Switch? I don't see it. I would have gave him 10 years. He was facing 30, you know, so in my view, he got off. All right, but and then he apologized later on. This kid has written 2 books. He wrote a rap single, you know, so to suggest that somehow he doesn't know right from wrong, this kid's smart.
And that's important for the viewer out there, that he knows right from wrong.
Absolutely.
You know, he's not a kid who's in the fog and doesn't know which direction he's going. He knows right from wrong, according to the psychiatrists and the doctors that they talk to in this case.
Right.
But I'm not saying you're right. I want to hear from Arnetta. You teach children with special,
Yeah. And basically, now, what we do believe in consequences. We're not saying that he should not have gotten any consequence. But autism is a unique, I'm not going to say disability, but it's a concern. Was he wrong for jumping on that lady? Absolutely. I don't know why he got upset. I don't know what triggered him. But however, as the teacher said earlier, the person said on the recording, did they follow the behavior intervention plan for that kid? Was everything in place? What about the documentation? He's probably had that type of aggression all along. And so, that being said, do I think that he should have got 5 years? Absolutely. But while they are going to jail, if you will, he still needs to get the necessary help that you may not agree with. He needs that because when he comes out...
I was going to ask, do you think when he comes out, it'll be the same story again?
Possibly, but if they have interventions and measures in place, it can help him. To me, as I was looking at it, as you said, somewhere down the line, the school did not do their job. And I think you said he should have got 20, but I believe this. Because they had some form of documentation about his behavior, that's probably why he didn't get 20.
Trust me, he's going to get the help he needs locked up. All right, there's some brother, there's some dude in jail is going to show him how to behave. All right, this is about consequences. You're not that special needs to where you don't understand what an ass whooping is. All right, and it's apparent that he's never had one. I've seen his adopted mother. His adopted mother is a frail white lady. There's no way that she's handling a 6'6", 270-pound kid who has aggression issues. You can't help that, but there's somebody in the pen that will help that.
Is there ever a point where a child is so ungovernable and as big as he is, where parents should consider, let's keep him home. Let's homeschool him instead of putting him in an environment where he could harm someone and cause us problems and himself problems like we have here?
Well, you know, unfortunately, because of the special ed umbrella, inclusiveness is the key.
Right, absolutely.
So we try to do that, but however, there have to be measures in place, not only from the parent, outside factors as well, to help this kid. This kid, that's just, to me, he's just an aggressive kid. He's been that way.
And really quick, what do you think about the idea of some homeschooling if they can't get along with anyone?
I agree. If that's the parent's choice.
I've got a classmate whose daughter would go to school, and an autistic kid would grab her on the backside. You know, this kid never got disciplined. There was so much understanding and sympathy for the fact that this kid had this problem. But whose child has to suffer because of that? You know, what adult who's going to work to provide for their families has to contend, and I don't blame the school district. I really don't. I blame the parent in the way that she raised this child, and the fact that the school district that he started in didn't discipline him early enough. He has no right to be in school.
All right, we want to thank you guys for joining us. It's a discussion that we can continue on all night.
Absolutely.
So again, looking more in depth, the parents are sitting and saying, well, that's not my child. I mean, I have autism and a learning disability. That's no excuse. I mean, if you have a learning disability and autism, that's no excuse for you to come up and saying that, oh, I'm special needs. That's no excuse. I mean, parents need to be nipped in the butt. I mean, child being charged as an adult. 17 is not an adult. 18 is. I mean, you can't get help in prison. I mean, don't be with inmates saying, like, I mean, scared straight. I mean, what about juvenile correction centers? What about counseling? What about doctors? And doctors help them, but he needs to be put in a juvenile correction center. Instead of being put in jail, he needs anger management courses. He needs to be put in juvie, not in jail. Juvie, juvenile detention, in a juvenile detention center. Scared straight. Those are 2 words. I mean, what society with most troubled kids? Do you put them in prison? I mean, what's your society with special needs? I mean, do you put them in prison? Do you scare them straight? Or juvenile correction centers? Or do something else? Or put the child in inclusion? The best solution is to homeschool. Homeschool your child. If you have a special needs child, you need to put them in homeschool or online school. That way, a quiet environment could be learned one-on-one with the child. And this was streamed 6 days ago. This was streamed almost a week ago. 3 hours worth of the 3 hours worth. This was from Florida. You know, we would play more about this, but we're gonna save that. We'll save this for season 8. That's gonna be saved for season 8. But we will be right back. Remember the old song from the Naked Brothers Band? I don't wanna go to school. Yes, it's true. I don't wanna see a teacher's face again. I don't wanna go to school. Everybody, I don't wanna go to school. We would all love singing that song. If you sang that song in front of a teacher, it'd be a protest song. You give us so much work. I go crazy, try to rest my head, and you call me lazy, and look around and all I see is depression. That's quoting the Naked Brothers Band, I don't want to go to school. I mean, it's just a catchy tune to be protesting your teacher saying, I don't want to go to school. You can't deny me my freedom. You can't deny me my summer. I don't want to go to school. But I came across this, which is a part of tonight's Vowel Break. All these versions of this, I don't want to go to school. I want to break the rules. This was all put on YouTube. This is from Roblox, actually. But it's hard to laugh at. All these things, like this one right here.
Mama, what? I don't want to go to school. Why? No, I don't want to go to school. Why? Because I'm going to break the...
We'll go back to the beginning here.
Mama, Mama, what? I don't wanna go to school. Why? No, I don't wanna go to school. Why? Cause I'm gonna break the rules. Why? I can't even read books. Why? Cause I don't wanna 2 + 2. Why? I just wanna eat food. Why? Teacher say I'm too rude. Why? Mama, cause I'm too cool. Why? I don't wanna go to school. Why? I don't wanna go to school. I don't wanna go to school. Why? I'm just tired of school. No, Landy, you are going to school. Mama, 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 mama.
I don't want to go to school. How about this dance?
Mama, 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 mama. What? I don't wanna go to school. Why? No, I don't wanna go to school. Why? Cause I'm gonna break the rules. Why? I can't even read books. Why? Cause I don't wanna 2 + 2. Why? I just wanna eat food. Why? Teacher say I'm too rude. Why? Mama, cause I'm too cool. Why? I don't wanna go to school. Why? I don't wanna go to school. I don't wanna go to school. Why? I'm just tired of school. No, Landy, you are going to school. Mama, 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 mama. What? I don't wanna go to school.
All of this was actually one of my favorites that I laughed at. This is from last month.
Mama, mama, mama. What? I don't wanna. Mama, mama, mama. What? I don't wanna go to school. Why? Mama, mama, mama. Mama, what? I don't wanna go to school. Why? No, I don't wanna go to school. Why? Cause I'm gonna break the rules. Why? I can't even read books. Why? Cause I don't wanna 2 + 2. Why? I just wanna eat food. Why? Teacher say I'm too rude. Why? Mama, cause I'm too cool. Why? I don't wanna go to school. Why? I don't wanna go to school. I don't wanna go to school. Why? I'm just tired of school. No, Landy, you are going to school. Mama, mama, mama. Mama, what? I don't wanna go to school. Why? No, I don't wanna go to school. Why? Cause I'm gonna break the rules.
I don't wanna go to school. I wanna break the rules. Teacher, I'm too rude. Why don't you at school?
Are you ready for your first day of school? I don't want to go to the first day of school. Oh, but sweetie, it's important that you go. I'd rather stay home and play in the snow. Clem and Tom and Leo are going to school. In fact, they call me saying, where is Caillou? Tell them they can hang with me at the school. If you don't go to school, I'll send you back to preschool. Okay, I'll go to school. Caillou, are you
Okay,
ready
I'll
for
go
your
to
first day of
school. Okay, now here's one. Remember the why aren't you at school? Remember the little question? Why aren't you at school? Well, this full trend is now a youth. This YouTube short is now a full trend, a 5-minute thing. Here's a portion. 42 million views. It's from Mr. Month. Why?
Why aren't you at school? I am your school, just called me. They said you're not there, that's not true. Stop lying, Billy Mom, I'm from...
Mr. Month.
Why aren't you at...
I mean, it's just all of these. Even this one. I ain't your mama.
All day, I ain't your mama. I ain't gonna do your
laundry.
I ain't gonna be cooking all day. I ain't your mama. I ain't gonna do your laundry. I ain't your mama.
But you are my mama, Mom. You gotta stop listening to Jennifer Lopez.
I ain't gonna be cooking all day. I ain't your mama. I ain't gonna do your laundry. I ain't your mama.
But you are my mama, Mom. You gotta stop listening to Jen.
I ain't your mama. Oh my god. Even this one weird, buddy.
Mama. 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 Mama.
What?
I don't wanna go to school.
Why?
No, I don't wanna go to school.
Why?
Cause I'm gonna break the rules.
Why?
I can't even read books.
Why?
Cause I don't wanna 2 + 2.
Why?
I just wanna eat food.
Why?
Teacher say I'm too rude.
Why?
Mama, cause I'm too cool.
Why?
I don't wanna go to school.
Why?
I don't wanna go to school. I don't wanna go to school.
Why?
I'm just tired of school. No, Lammy, you are going to school. Mama. 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 Mama.
What?
I don't wanna.
Even in real life, this got 7.3 million views.
Mama. 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 Mama.
What?
I don't wanna go to school.
Why?
No, I don't wanna go to school.
Why?
Cause I'm gonna break the rules.
Why?
I can't even read books.
Why?
Cause I don't wanna 2 + 2.
Why?
I just wanna eat food. Mama. 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 Mama.
What?
I don't wanna go to school.
Why?
No, I don't wanna go to school.
Why?
Cause I'm gonna break the rules.
And this is just Brady. He just kicked in.
Mama. 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 Mama.
What?
I don't wanna go to school.
Why?
No, I don't wanna go to school.
Why?
Cause I'm gonna break the rules.
Why?
I can't even read books.
Why?
Cause I don't wanna 2 + 2.
Why?
I just wanna eat food.
Why?
Teacher say I'm too rude.
Why?
Mama, cause I'm too cool.
Why?
I don't wanna go to school.
Why?
I don't wanna go to school. I don't wanna go to school.
Why?
I'm just tired of school. No, Landy, you are going to. Mama. 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 Mama.
What?
I don't wanna.
You think you're too cool for school? School's very important. You don't go to school, you don't get your education. Alright. That's all for now. I'm Jonathan Cartwright. Thanks for watching. Stop bullying, speak out. Concentration, not strength. No jaywalking. Stay in school. Thanks for watching.